From Center City in Philadelphia, this is Fox 29 News at 5.
Right now, after 25 years in jail, Anthony Wright is a free man. It's been a whirlwind 24 hours for Wright. This time, yesterday, he was leaving prison after DNA evidence proved that Wright was not responsible for the 1991 rape and murder of a Philadelphia woman. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Ian Page.
And I'm Lucy Nolan. That DNA testing focused on clothing that police said Wright was wearing during the attack. Well, it proved Wright never wore those clothes. Our Bruce Gordon spoke with Wright on his first full day of freedom and joins us now from outside the Criminal Justice Center where the retrial happened. Bruce.
Yeah, lawyers for the Innocence Project and Philadelphia's Schneider law firm worked for years on this case, and the man at the center of it all never gave up until a gross miscarriage of justice was overturned and a now middle-aged man, well, was reborn. On his first full day of freedom in a quarter century, 44-year-old Tony Wright hugged the jurors who made it happen. In the law offices from which attorneys had pleaded the case, he stepped to a bank of microphones and exhaled.
It's been an unbelievable 24 hours for me. I'm not used to what's going on. I'm just living in the moment. You know, I'm on cloud nine.
Wright, then 20 years old, was arrested, tried, and convicted in the 1991 rape and murder of a 77-year-old Nicetown woman. Despite what he called a phony confession, Wright always professed his innocence, even as he sat behind bars.
I lay in bed and cried myself to sleep so many nights, man. You know, at one time I was a lost soul, man. You know what I mean? I was just hoping anybody would listen.
Several years ago, DNA evidence proved Wright did not commit the crime. But the district attorney, Seth Williams, demanded the case be retried. Jurors took less than 2 hours to find him not guilty, or more accurately, innocent.
I felt wonderful. It was humbling. It really was. And it was a privilege to read those words, not guilty.
With his long-suffering parents watching, Wright was asked if he held a grudge against the legal system that stole so much of his life.
I worship a merciful God. If he forgive people, who am I to hold a grudge against somebody? I don't do that, man.
Afterward, those involved in the case mingled, not wanting to let this moment end. Wright held his granddaughter in his arms and hugged his son. And I found his father, now living in Florida. He wants Tony to pay him a visit.
And I asked him if it was okay if I held his hand while we walked down the beach. And he said, "Dad, you can do whatever you want. I love you."
Now, that DNA evidence actually pointed to a now deceased career criminal as the actual rapist and killer in that 91 case. In a statement, Seth Williams' office defended retrying Wright instead of simply releasing him in the face of that DNA evidence. But today it was clear from the jurors we spoke to, they believe he should have been released outright several years ago. Ian?
All right, Bruce, thank you. Well, nearly 85 people have been exonerated in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware since 1989. The National Registry of Exonerations keeps records dating back 27 years, and they say more than 1,800 people have been exonerated in that time span. They say on average about 9 years is lost per case until a person is exonerated. That average is above 10 years in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Last year saw a record 156 cases exonerated across the country.
How does the state make it up? All those lost years to Anthony Wright. Philadelphia police are after the man behind a series of sex assaults in South Philadelphia. He is struck over and over again this month alone. Cops say he's on a bicycle, rides up to women who are wearing dresses from behind, gropes them, then rides off. Detectives say everyone should be cautious.
You should always be aware of your surroundings. You know, it's difficult to do, but you should always keep, make sure you know who's around you, what's going on to the best you can. Try to stay on a heavily traveled street if possible. Try and walk under the light. Take all reasonable cautions like that.
If you have any information or if this has happened to you, give police a call. In South Philadelphia, police need your help finding a man they say attacked, then robbed a woman. It happened on the 500 block of Reed Street earlier this month, and that's where police say the man strangled the 32-year-old woman until she was unconscious. He got away with her purse, credit cards, and an iPhone. So if you recognize, I know it's hard to see, but if you recognize this guy, call police.
Police are also trying to find this man. They say he broke into a quick stop in Philadelphia's Powelton section. Police say that he broke the front door glass to get in and stole cigarettes. This happened on Monday, just before 12:30 a.m. He is described as 40 years old with a beard and a tattoo on his right arm. In Juniata, police are looking for 3 men who stole one car and set another on fire. Cops say the trio first stole a green Honda Accord on the 4000 block of Maywood Street. The last 4 numbers of the plate are 7987. Police say the guys returned to the victim's home and then set a parked BMW on fire. No one was hurt in that incident from earlier this month.
So veterans will soon have very valuable bikes back in their hands. Philadelphia and Tennecomm Township police say they have nabbed the person who stole custom bicycles for the Wounded Warrior Project. 48-year-old Roy Bowman now faces theft charges. Police say they found 4 of 9 bikes that were inside a U-Haul truck. They say Bowman stole that truck earlier this month when it was parked near the airport. Those bikes, well, they're worth $8,000.
Well, it's been nearly 3 weeks since a railing at the BB&T Pavilion gave way during a packed concert and sent dozens falling off a ledge.
And today we learned several of the victims are now filing a lawsuit saying that this could have been prevented. Fox 29's Don Timoney has been following what's going on. Don.
Well, Lucy, attorneys for more than a dozen victims today said that proper planning, security, and the safe location of the stage could have prevented this disaster. They say it's pure luck that no one died in this terrifying collapse.
Bring your ass down here.
You can hear Snoop Dogg tell the crowd to come on down off the grass at a concert with Wiz Khalifa at the BB&T Pavilion in Camden back on August 5th. Moments later, cell phone video captures the frightening scene. A railing gives way and concertgoers topple on top of each other, falling at least 6 feet.
The majority of the people fell head first. That could have been absolutely catastrophic.
42 people were injured, some badly. Today, attorneys representing 17 of the victims announced lawsuits against the concert promoter, Live Nation. They claim this disaster was totally preventable.
They had an obviously inadequate railing directly on top of a 6-foot drop onto a concrete moat.
You can see the concert goers hurling over the railing, frightened fans pinned on top of each other, people bleeding and screaming.
Within the crowd of people that fell, there's a broken back, broken legs, torn Achilles, torn ligaments and tendons, and devastating injuries. I believe there's 6 concussions amongst the group.
The performers are also being sued. Attorneys say they incited fans in the grassy area behind the railing to push forward, causing the crowd surge.
They have a responsibility to their fans. Number one, to make sure that their stages are located in safe areas. And number two, not to encourage and command their patrons and their fans to press down into an area which isn't protected.
The railings were replaced and a barricade placed in front to keep something like this from happening again. The attorneys for the victims say it should have been done when the venue first opened.
They had 21 years to do it. They failed, and because of that, 42 people have lingering and potentially lifelong injuries.
Now, Live Nation did issue a statement after the collapse saying it was saddened by what happened. The promoter said it was closely following the recovery of injured fans and employees and actively working with authorities and structural engineers to determine the cause of the railing collapse. I reached out to the company for a reaction to the lawsuits today. I'll let you know when I get a response. Lucy?
All right. Thank you very much, Don. To a developing story out of Afghanistan. 1 person is dead and at least 18 others are hurt after officials say militants attacked the American University of Afghanistan. Eyewitnesses say they heard gunshots, then a blast near the campus of this capital city of Kabul. Several American professors and dozens of students took cover in classrooms and safe rooms while police and special forces surrounded the campus. Police say they're trying to track down the terrorists behind the attack. In Italy, at least 120 people are confirmed dead following a devastating earthquake that rocked the country overnight. You heard it here as breaking news last night. Entire towns are leveled.
And tonight, officials are warning the death toll will likely rise as droves are injured and thousands of people are now forced from their homes. Fox's John Huddy reports.
Death and devastation in Italy. A magnitude 6 earthquake striking as many people were sleeping around 3:36 Wednesday morning. The quake leveling homes and entire towns in central Italy. 80 miles northeast of Rome, several mountain villages were hit hardest. Rescue crews have been able to pull dozens of victims out of collapsed buildings alive, but they are in a race against time to find more survivors.
We're trying to help pull out as many people as possible from the rubble. Unfortunately, 90% we pull out are dead, but some make it out. That's why we're here.
Emergency workers say it's hard to estimate how many people may be missing since the region sees a huge influx of summer residents and vacationing tourists. Meantime, President Obama and Secretary Kerry have been in contact with Italian leaders
to offer his deep condolences on behalf of the American people, to the people of Italy following the devastating earthquake that struck overnight. President Obama saluted the quick action of first responders and volunteers who've been working to save lives.
He offered any U.S. assistance Italy may require and pledged to stay in close contact.
At the Vatican, Pope Francis led public prayers for victims and dispatched a Vatican rescue team to the quake zone. Adding to the challenge for rescue crews are the narrow, winding country roads, making it very difficult to get in and out, especially bringing in heavy pieces of rescue equipment. In Amatrice, Italy, John Huddy, Fox News.
All right, now on to your Fox 29 Weather Authority. Another pretty nice day out there
it's
today.
Very nice,
right?
and we have meteorologist Scott Williams with us. How goes it, Scott?
Hi there, Lucy and Ian. Yeah, it's just been absolutely tremendous as far as the temperatures this week. High yesterday, low 80s today, mid 80s. And take a look behind me, a lot of blue skies out there. Folks really not complaining about the break from the oppressive heat and humidity. 85 degrees right now in Philadelphia, winds out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour. So that will signal an increase in humidity over the next several days. Look at the comfortable temperatures right now. 80 Dover, 82 in Atlantic City. We're looking at 84 in Allentown, 70s right now in the Pocono Mountains. So the dew point, we always talk about this to kind of gauge how it feels. We still have some dew points in the upper 50s, so that means it's still pretty comfortable, but we'll start to see those dew points increase for the latter part of the week. No weather worries if you're stepping outdoors for your Wednesday evening plans by 9, 78 degrees, 74 by 11. We're dry, quiet, tornadoes moving through sections of Indiana. We'll talk about that coming up, and we'll also talk about building heat and humidity, guys. We could be talking about the 6th heat wave as early as this weekend.
I'm loving that, Scott. Thanks. Hey, don't try to catch them all. Coming up, why playing Pokemon Go in one town could land you with a ticket.
And new life for the Revel Casino. What the building could soon become that could bring more people into Atlantic City. And
could George just give me a call so I can figure out what was going on?
Oh, you heard her. Our Jeff Cole goes looking for answers. Why Philly's mayor says a local towing company needs to be held responsible for its actions.
And new at 6 o'clock, he is just 5 years old, but this little boy is embarking upon a huge act of kindness. Why he saved his allowance to give back to local police.